Hey everybody, this is Rob and Kalina, ET Whisper.
Hey guys.
Monthly portal, Patreon, in-depth poll. I'm going to make sure I can hear myself in the headphones, so that means I'm wonderful and awesome. That means that you guys can also hear us, which is also wonderful and awesome. Sorry about the last minute, guys. I actually forgot that today was the last day of the month, where I was like, let's shoot for Thursday or Friday. And we debated, and we said, well, let's do Thursday. And then I go to get through the calendar, and I notice, so I'm glad we chose today. Otherwise, it would have been completely a month behind, which has happened here before, but never on an unintentional misinterpretation of the calendar. So we're here, guys. We're ready to do the in-depth poll, which you guys chose the topics and which you guys voted on. And the winner for today is Masterclass on the Essential Information to Have Now. And what that means for the person who suggested it, they wanted Aridif to talk about all the tools, all the information, all the energy that Aridif believes that humans need in this time, and to give us a in-depth masterclass on that information. So teaching us the things that we need, the things that we should have, the things that we can use, and that's what's voted on. Now, I do want to talk to also all of you. There are some of you who are new here, who have not had the opportunity to check out the archive, and we definitely don't have that archive set up in a very organized way, I guess. And that has to do with, the randomness month to month, but also the lack of organization. Usually when we announce it, we still don't know what the actual winner is going to be. We usually close down the poll moments before we start. So we're going to try to work on doing that and getting the themes, because some of the things that we've talked about, for example, the opening the third eye, which was our second place one, which is a very good topic, a wonderful thing. But I believe we actually did a whole episode about that. So once we get that archive set up, we're going to post that somewhere and keep adding to it. And this way, if anyone suggests something that we've already gone through in depth with Aridif or with any entity, then we're going to skip that one on. And usually we don't check the suggestions until the day that we post the poll vote. So basically, we only get into Patreon once or twice a month, and it's usually just to make the posts we're making and to share the links that we're doing. That's why some of you sent messages. I didn't get a chance to see them until weeks later, sometimes even the next month. So we're just letting you guys know that we're going to try to get that all set up. We're going to try to figure out all of the Patreon post subjects that we've talked about, and we're going to try to divide that up into an archived, something that's kind of tangible and usable for everybody to see, look at, and to reference right before they do the suggestions for the monthly poll. Also, Kalina and I are going to be sharing something with you guys in the next couple days, something that's amazing, something that's really awesome. And do you want to tell them what we'll be sharing, sweetie?
We will be sharing the gender reveal of our baby.
We will be telling you if this child is a male, female, genetically, physically. Obviously, we know that energy doesn't necessarily identify a person, as there are multiple people who perceive themselves as one energy or another more dominantly, but the actual sex of the child from the moment of birth will be announced very soon.
Yep.
And we definitely...
Very, very soon. I know you guys have been hearing that, but very soon we're working on a special project, so it'll be worth the wait. It will be
worth the wait. It'll be presented in a great way, guys. Also, we know that we gave everyone here access to the channel panel from this last year. We're going to try to get a commercial out soon for that. We actually only ever had 2 copies, and 1 donation for that sold because we made it so available for like 48 hours pretty much. We had all the channelers who were involved, and this year it was what, 16 channelers or 12 channelers or some crazy high number.
It was a lot.
We had a lot of people.
We didn't get enough money to pay them yet, so.
Right, and that's why we're mentioning this. So if we get that out, the commercial, if any of you feel excited to share that, please do. If you saw it but still feel like you want a copy for yourself, you can always purchase it too. And for those of you who are here at Patreon, obviously you guys will get a discount from the public, so you will not be paying nearly as much as the public. And we'll let you guys know how that goes. What else are we thinking about? What else do we need to talk or tell or share or do or communicate?
Well, I mean, while you were talking, I don't know if you noticed me looking very surprised at the belly, but the baby's been kicking. And I swear for the first time, I just actually could see physically the kicking, like the belly was jumping. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could feel the kicking. This baby is a strong kicker and moves around so much that yesterday's ultrasound they had to reschedule because the baby was putting the little feet in the way.
Yeah, it was pulling its feet in front of its heart, and I'm trying to do that.
Be very careful.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing the gender neutral pronouns. And that way, yeah, because we accidentally at the thing, Kalina's like so-and-so, and then used the proper pronoun, and then was I recovered. Or the other pronoun, and she caught herself quickly, but one of the family member goes, oh, was that a slip up? And she recovered. She played it all cool.
Like I was messing with them,
but we don't want to mistake that one again, because that was a seat of the edge moment.
Yep.
Edge of the seat.
I think we have permission from the family to play at least some of the footage, right?
Yeah, we do have permission from the family to share the formal gender reveal party, in which my niece and nephews did something really cool. They were helpful in the revealing of the gender of the baby.
I came up with a really cool. It was funny.
Kalina
kind of brought up to. It was like I woke up in the middle of the night. And it was like the idea I don't know if it was a guide I don't know what it was. Maybe I was dreaming it or whatever. But
it was literally transported into her brain via alien technology.
It was a download, all right. It was funny. And it's like, and it was as if like the universe just, when we went out to the store, literally everything we needed was there just like that. Like, oh my God, that's amazing.
It was amazing. It was an amazing time too. You guys will be excited. At least those of you who are caring about or excited about us having this little baby. You guys will be excited. We're sure.
Yeah.
What else? Oh yeah, tonight we're gonna try to land it right at or around early 9 o'clock. So like 9 to 9:05, because we always run averagely 5 minutes late everywhere we go. But if that changes, we will let you guys know in our Facebook group and on the Patreon page. Now, for those of you who have not joined our Facebook group, we already did make, and successfully having over 20 members, I believe, at this point, our Patreon portal, ET Whisper Patreon portal friends group, where all of you guys who are here, a part of Patreon, can go and talk to each other, post exciting news that you hear about, share your favorite ET Whisper channeling, your favorite channel panel, or you can share links from YouTube of other people's channeling. Just a community to share what you're excited about there. If one of you guys likes jump roping all day and that's your passion, then you can share that there. And you get to meet other people who are in the same belief systems and alignments, because we know that's not a huge thing for people in certain areas. Like if you live in Sedona, you're good. If you live in LA, Asheville, North Carolina, you guys are good. But us who live in Michigan, in the middle of nowhere, or if you live in the middle of rural Virginia, or you live pretty much anywhere but those cities or areas that have nice spiritual communities, you either have to make your own community or you have to go online we're trying to make it easy for those people who want to hang out with each other and spend time. And so far, it's been nice. There hasn't been a whole lot of posting there, but the posting that has been there has been amazing. So we have that there, guys, and we will, if for some reason this goes on too long, this channeling, and I need more time between the channeling to recuperate, and we need to start 9:30 or 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll let you know. But we're going to try to keep that at 9.
Or Prego needs another nap.
Yeah, Pregos needs another nap. Then we'll definitely do that too.
I've been sleepy so much.
Yeah, sleeping's huge.
Yeah.
What else, baby?
Just we love you guys. I think it would be awesome to get started because I think it'll be
yeah. It's clock's ticking by for sure. There was something else that I really wanted to share with you guys, and I cannot remember. Oh, our very own Fincastle Underground, whose name you see in the chat right now. Our dear friend William is officially running for sheriff of his county. And none of you probably live in his county because it's a very small county in Virginia, but he's running for sheriff. So all of us who have excitement about that, who love William, who know about William, or who share that energy of excitement for him doing that, we definitely want to send love and support to him. I mean, and there's still something else I'm not mentioning. I can't remember. I'm not mentioning. Anyway, guys, if I think about it, I'll tell you after I'm done channeling. I love you guys so much. Kalina, I know she loves you.
I do.
And we love you guys. We're going to hit the old 5 to 7 minute mark to get my Aaron Freeman Golden Monkey song going, get my neutralizing going. When I had a radio station, I was actually given permission by Aaron Freeman and his manager to use that for the radio. But each time I did, they still linked with a monetization redistribution. So
it's probably an automatic thing.
It is. It's an auto thing. But still, I definitely didn't want to do that. Whenever I had big guests on, my numbers would go up about 5 or 6 times. And we figured even on these videos where I had almost 100,000 views, I still made a lifetime of maybe $7 on the videos through monetizing it. It's almost not worth it, but just to provide financial energy involved in the work we do, I keep it on. But all of you guys who are here at Patreon, and most of you are tech savvy, know if you pop on the ad blocker, you don't have to watch any YouTube commercials anywhere. So just saying that. So love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and I can't remember why I brought that up. I don't know if I finished my point or not. It doesn't really matter. Oh, the point is I'm going to neutralize with Gold Monkey by Aaron Freeman.
I think my Prego brain is just like
it's
expanding over to you. It's like an auric field. It's like you're swimming along with me. Anyone who's ever been pregnant or experienced being around a pregnant person, there just comes a point where you just get absent-minded as like, wow, ADD on steroids, you know. My memory is mush and all of that. So like, okay, I better eat more vitamins and stuff because
yeah, that's definitely something that's funny. Kalina definitely has the Prego brain, guys.
It's kind of fun though, because as weird as it sounds, it kind of almost forces me to be more in the now moment. So when I'm like out of it, it just kind of reminds me to be back in the here and now. So yeah, I like it.
I like it
Plus,
too.
baby kicking really helps you be in the moment as well.
Baby kicking is awesome.
Really, really adorable.
The baby can be a possible ninja with the amount of kicking that it does.
That's an inside joke. We'll tell you guys that.
Yeah, it's funny, but not to you guys probably right now. All right, everybody. I threw the hint down for everybody who is there that I'll be back in just a little bit. So I'm going to shut my face and get to it, and we will see you in 5 to 7 minutes, guys. Love ya.
Love you guys.
All right, everybody, we're just making sure the audio is going, so I'm going to be quiet. You'll hear my voice again, but it'll just be my recording of my voice or a relay. Oh, I actually have to turn it on. 1 second, guys. Well, here we go. Let's see if that works. Okay, and it's still not working. Okay, let's just do it this way. Hit play and go. Okay.
This week we've heard the contagion.
Okay, that's not it either.
We thought we'd throw in a little news for you guys.
Yeah, some
You're
Bob
welcome.
Lazara updates.
Hi,
Okay,
Malik.
there we go.
I see that
Hello,
Malik
Malik.
is here.
Hello, and you're welcome very much, William. We love you, brother, and we definitely want to see you succeed. We know with your heart, with your beliefs, your experiences, that you'd make a very great person in charge of law enforcement. Something that I've personally experienced is oppression, oppressiveness from law enforcement agents before. Although as I become older, it seems to be less. It tends to be targeted more, at least for my demographic, being a person who's Caucasian, who's in middle average income communities that after I got out of my mid-20s, they quit messing with me around here. So also I quit getting in trouble a lot, so that helps.
He did. William would have been there to straighten you out.
Oh, yeah. And the type of help that I've heard him talk about is the help that people who go through drug addiction or who join gangs because they're bored, that William would actually have good insight. But I'm going to try not to get too far out of my neutral zone, guys. I love you guys very much. Again, for those of you who just joined us, we're doing the winner of the poll this month, which is the masterclass on things that Aridif feels that we need to know right now in the collective, in the energy that's relevant, and all the specific information with either techniques, ideas, whatever he can share with us.
I'll bet Professor Artist's already ready.
Oh yeah,
got his Denebian notes ready.
I am sure. I am absolutely sure. All right, everybody, here we go. I'm gonna get my neutralize on. I love you guys very, very much. I will see you guys on the other side. Remember, this applies more later tonight than now, but when we do our Q&A. But the answers that Aridif gives are always a reflection of the collective energy. So enjoy yourself right now, have fun, and it will come back in that same amazing energy. It'll come back with excitement, with vigor, with pure joy. All right, I love you guys. Thank you also, sweetie, for your part in this and joining and helping to add the reflections that Aridif might have missed or things that you feel need to be expanded on. It's always a huge, huge bonus to this information and energy.
Aw, thank you.
Now, what were you asking?
Oh, just trying to see the clock. My eyes are so blurry.
It says 5:34.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
keep an eye on that.
Yep. All right, guys. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the other side.
See you, baby. Say hi to Treb.
I will. Aridif probably needs some more water because it's down to right here.
You should share my water. I'll keep yours.
Yeah, it's right here.
Behind me.
I'll get it.
Just keep it within arm shot of me.
Can you reach that?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Love you guys. Love you, baby.
Love you, baby.
Love you too. I'm just getting a little water, guy, and then we'll go ahead and jump in.
I'm sure Aridif will water you as well.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Like a flower in the garden. All right, guys. Love ya. Here we go. Greetings to all, this is Aridif, that is A-R-I-D-I-F, and this is its spell. We understand that all of you desire to understand of your now moments masterclass. We wish to express to you that we will speak deeply of this subject, but before diving into this construct of co-created and collective energy, we wish to express three things first. Two things that we have expressed in all of our co-creations in your previous and recent time. First, above and beyond all things expressed within this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within our greatest excitement, to co-create with each and every one of you, collectively, individually, and co-creatively. Thirdly, we wish to express greetings to Kalina.
Greetings, Aridif. Thank you for being here today, and we love you, and you are loved.
Yes, of course, not only are you loved, but we also love you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we will dive into this construct of energy of your now moments masterclass. First, we understand the ideals and construct of energy brought forward from Rob's own mind. We also understand the perspective of the question being answered, but we will shift the overall vibration into slightly different energies and small compartmental constructs, each with their own individual constructs and partially co-created collective energies with one another and within the greater theme. And we will shift that theme slightly also. Instead of working within your now moment master class, we will work with the master class of your now moment and many tools that are required for the greatest manifestation of the collective's desire to integrate as much consciousness from the higher fractalized consciousness into the lower fractal self and human body. And secondly, work on expanding and shifting your consciousness to the place that is the most expansive for your persons, for your energy, and for the co-created collective form of energy. This is what we believe in our own perspective is greatly fitting for all of you to discuss and for all of our own energy to imply. So first, let us start off with the basic constructs. As all of you know, when you go back to your basics, as you would express, that is where your magic happens. That's where manifestation occurs. That is where the co-created collective has its greatest and least resistant opportunity to grow, expand, and to be the greatest version of yourself. Before diving deeper into that construct, we will hydrate Rob's throat and continue. First of all, the energy of being in your now moment. A masterclass of this by itself can be of the greatest use for all humans in the collective consciousness and the greatest tool to be your fourth density self in which you are. So let us set the foundation for that part of the energy alone. All of you are already within your fourth density consciousness. All of you have been fourth density as your 20 and 12-year approached. Now, the Mayans perceived this as one cycle ending and another cycle beginning, the larger Batu of the co-created Mayan understanding, which in our own perspective has great velocity of energy that was embedded within their own understanding of that, with the larger forms of natural cycling. And we have always expressed that if you work within as great a deal as natural time and energy that you are able to, and work from that instead of your human-made time, this can be of much greater use to you. But knowing that cycles came in small to large energies, the Mayans understood this quite well. What they did not understand was the implication of what new age cycle would begin. They perceived this as the time of leaving material and going into the essential spiritual essence. That was correct. They also believed that fundamental materialism, as it was perceived, would start being introduced and integrated into their persons approximately at the time that the Spaniards came over the sea into their co-created collective. And when that occurred, hundreds of years going by, and then the start of the new cycle. Also, this was correct. What they did not perhaps perceive, or at least the majority of the mass forms collective did not perceive, was that this was the start of your fourth density journey. And what it means to shift from third to fourth density is something different for all of you. We will give you the most black and white version of this energy, as all of you understand. It is not as black and white as what we express. Consciousness itself fundamentally cannot be contained. Consciousness itself does not imply that it must be done in certain ways and all other ways are not available. In fact, consciousness is the opposite. You put consciousness into a container, it always finds ways to spill outward, to overfill its container, to go above and beyond all expressions of itself in the quote-unquote desired effect and perspective of the container itself. What that means is that as consciousness goes in, there are no expected constructs. All things fundamentally are of its own volition and creation. This means limitations in what we express are only forms of limitations to the average construct, not meaning that it defies the rule, nor does it adhere to the rule. It is only an average of that rule. With that express, blackly and whitely, we move forward and express that most entities that go between third and fourth density experience the energy that is understood as self-exploration of oneself, self-exploration of time in a fundamental and time in a linear fashion. That exploration of self, that understanding of linear time comes to all of you from your own understanding of what life is experienced as. All of you were born into the third density, and most of you still continue to feel averagely 98.5 or higher percentages of third density life in this moment. Some of you fly between the 1 and 1.5% of your fourth density self. Others are experiencing shifts that will help them feel small portions of that fourth density self. But what is fourth density? Where third density expressed and explored the construct of energy that only explored sense of self and linear time in its expression through a perspective of a widened individual, something that was of a higher nature of those that live and exist in second density alone, where the mechanics that are applied in any being in that second density energy is instinct, and that third density expands the expression more than instinct. It is intuition itself. It is that understanding. But shifting from there, going into your fourth density means you yourself also expand, not only in the amount of consciousness that is integrated into your lower fractal self from the higher fractal self, but also the exploration of different themes. Those different themes go from sense of self, looking inward, to sense of all things, reaching outside of yourself. The energy that is within you is well known, as you have lived it your whole life, but the energy of what is outside of you has not always been priority for many of you. That outside-looking energy is expressed from the internal energy externally, and what is meant more than any one construct in that co-creation is your connection to that external perceived co-creative energy. Now, there are those who are fundamentally black and white about the construct of what it means to connect with outside of you. Some will say, the person in the room is only a reflection of myself, and yes, this is correct to an extent. It is a reflection of the internal creation that you are creating, and that version of the energy that you are creating with comes from your co-creative power. But the entity who stands across you in any room also is creator, also is able to create, and also chose yourself in turn to co-create with. Meaning two masters stand next to one another in creation with the ability to feel connection with one another. That connection is what? That is fourth density. When you look at yourself in all aspects and all parts of your own consciousness, you can perceive the energy of the entity that is across from you. And when your empathy replaces your intuition, then you understand the necessary theme and driving mechanism for fourth density experience. This is simply your connection part, the evolution of your soul. When you feel connected to another human being in your third density self, it always goes back to how originally it felt within yourself. In fourth density, the way that you feel when connecting to another entity starts at the place and center of co-creation. Then it is experienced through both entities. As both of you start truly feeling the essence of your co-creative self, that allows you to know truly what it is to connect to another being. Whereas before, the projection of that entity from yourself to the external universe was essentially part and parcel with third density co-creation. And in fourth density, it is more than this. It is the expression of those two co-creators merging their energetic self through empathy. Intuition allows you to feel parts of the other entity's energy. Empathy allows you to feel all of that energy. The energy in fourth density is quite confusing for some, as that co-creation itself can allow others' energies to influence the way you feel, others' energies and perspectives to shift your own perspective. But it also allows you to expand the definition of yourself. One moment hydration, yet again. Now that shift of third to fourth density is important when it comes to your masterclass. Why? It is essential because living in your now moment gives you the optimal perspective in order to manifest the greatest outcomes of your fourth density self. Living in your now is the now moment masterclass. That energy, staying in your moment and focus, is your now moment masterclass. Many of you have learned expectations are those energies in your co-creation and creation that only allow you a probable percentage or spectrum of manifestation, whereas those who lack that energy of expectation and are truly living in your now moment are exceptionally larger to infinite spectrums of manifestation. We give examples of this often, frequently. Those of you who desire to co-create a personal romantic relationship, if you believe that going to church is the best way to do this, or going to a bar is the best way in order to do this, this means that there are only two possible outcomes for you that will give possibilities of success, and those are going to bars and churches. Yet if there are no expectations, and you are able to ground yourself in the now moment and live and approach life in your moment as you desire, with passion and excitement for the things that are closest to your ability to manifest, or things that you desire in that moment to manifest. This is where all possibilities or higher spectrums of probabilities will occur that you are able to meet. This means that simply going to the grocery store because you are excited of your new dietary needs, your new dietary construct that allows your body to feel better, that allows you to exercise and move, and allows you to feel more energetically as your childhood self, as any other time in your experience, and simply the act of going to that store is part of your expression of your now moment's excitement to manifest that greater, happier physical body. Then you can meet entities romantically, as that is your other passion in your grocery store. You can meet them walking to the grocery store. You can meet them driving to that grocery store, and you can meet them riding the bus to the grocery store. That is an excitement, even if it is only a percentage of previous said excitement. Meeting that person, that energy can and will allow itself to manifest in that way. One possibility, but never limited only to that possibility. This is your power of now. This is your power of no expectations. This is essential for the energy of all of you to grow yourself outward, to expand what you are, and to integrate the highest percentage of your higher fractal consciousness into your lower fractal consciousness. What is the difference of higher fractal and lower fractal consciousness? Your higher fractal consciousness does not reside within your physical body. Your lower fractal does. Your lower fractal is the perspective of your personality overall, your ego or egoic part, the construct of energy within you, or the egoic self of consciousness, the part of you that is physical, the part of you that is emotional, the part of you that is mental, that is energetic, that is psychic. All of those exist at very least partially in the lower fractal consciousness. But your identity itself is all embedded within the lower fractal energy. You call yourself Rob. For example, Rob himself only resides in the lower fractal. The higher forms of Rob, the energy that allows him to connect with ours, the energy that allows him to go outward and receive his understandings from an intuitive self, are in or in between the lower fractal to that higher fractal energy. Higher fractal consciousness is your higher self. It is all of the non-physical energy that is more than your identity, that is more based towards your connection with source energy. And that is the bond. That is staying in your now moment. And that is how to integrate the highest percentage of your higher fractal into the lower fractal. And yet, this again is essential for your now moment, for your living in your now moment. Another essential energy of your now time, now moment is the integration of allowance, the integration of acceptance, and the integration of the lapse of judgment as it appears to other entities involved. All of these things can allow you to be the greatest you that you can be. We perceive that your entire Earth Collective has started turmoil turning upward on your knob of perhaps internal fighting coordination, the volume, energy of all of the disagreeing that occurs in Earth Collective. As we have perceived multiple years of that decreasing into your late 2015, into your 2017, going further and further up on the dial of inner fighting, all the way until this now moment, it is perceived that many of the collective consciousness starts working away from one another. This part of the energy is expressed as it is always meant for an energy to explore its opposite before diving in to that very thing that is desired. What does that mean? What is that in the most simple terms? What it means is, as all of you are going towards connecting with all other beings, you must first know the maximum of separating yourself from all of those beings. Why do you believe that there are an increase in political fighting, more so now than ever before? Why are there integrations of people whose ideas are so different? Instead of working to verbalize or co-create peacefulness between, there are confrontations, and those confrontations become larger, louder, and bigger than those before. What about those people who are normally calm and peaceful humans resorting to violence or extreme forms of anger? You must first know what you are not before you are able to know what you are. This is why most of you who have gone through extraordinary difficulties as children, violence was given against you, integration of you yourself stepping into the bad guy role, those that have had the drug problems mixed with depression, those who've lived in that variety of life can feel wider spectrums in most parts than people who have not gone through difficulty. Those who have gone through light difficulty, yes, they can feel greatness, they can feel connection, they can feel love and expressions of that love, but they cannot feel it in the same spectral energy of understanding as those who have been able to murder early in their life and then come to a religious or spiritual understanding that all life is precious. What better person to know the depths of depravity of someone who is so greatly disconnected than one who has lived through that experience? Those of you who have had fairly easy lives can find yourself in extraordinarily difficult energy in this moment. You must taste that sample before you purchase the plate of the food. You must first know what it is to feel disconnection before true connection can be experienced. This is why we have expressed that as you yourself go through your experience, try to work with only the energy in front of you. Does not mean that if you are angry, do not feel anger. We never suggest that you go away from your native feeling of the moment. One moment, we'll hydrate and continue. We do not mean that if you are sad in the moment to divert or circumvent that sadness. What we mean, allow yourself to feel, let it pass, and then stay in your moment. Do not hold that energy of even 1 hour of your past. Many of you are feeling childhood traumas coming to the surface in this moment. reevaluating your experience with your parents, reevaluating your experience with previous friends, husbands, wives, etc. All of those energies are only that reflection of your trying to integrate what you desire now, what you truly want in this vibrational moment. And for those of you who look through that energy and cannot release that energy, are holding the past. And as you hold the past in tight knitted hands, you will always drift your consciousness this way. This is your example that we have always given you. 1 liter of water represents the entirety of your entity. As you worry about previous engagements and place your energy in its past, 1/4 of your energy is in that past moment, not accessible to in this moment. Your concerns: what will happen next week? Will my bills be paid? Will my marriage work out? Will my children be well? That is your future energy. And thinking and processing is not a negative thing. It is not counterintuitive, and it is not against the progression of your soul. But if you tightly clench your hand into the future, then you are also taking 1/4 of your consciousness, dispersing it into the future. In your now moment, if you are sad and staying with that energy longer than what it takes for the natural feeling of progress, for that energy to go through you, then you are throwing 1/4 of cup into your air and dispersing it for that now moment. 3/4 of the liter of water that once you had is now distributed. No energy for you to manifest fully in your now moment. Statistically, looking at that energy, mathematically, what does this tell you? 3 out of every 4 possible manifestations will not come to fruition in this example. But if we look at it from our perspective, twice that energy is true. Now it is only 1 of 8. Because of your emotional imbalance in your now moment, that cuts at very least half the possibility to manifest. So although we have given this expression many times, and this is the first time that you have heard us divide your now moment, think of the implications of how much more your energy in imbalanced ways is affecting you now that you are 4th density manifestors, compared to your 3rd density previous version. In 3rd density, it is normal to go at slow paces. It is normal to not feel well in all parts of your now moment. But as you shift further into the 4th density energy, whether you perceive mostly 3rd density or not, you are powerfully manifesting to such higher degrees in this moment. It is almost 1.5 to twice the power of manifestation. Imagine what happens if you were to recollect all of your quarters of water. You stop worrying about what is in the future. You quit hanging into your past and bring your energy as close to an semblance of energetic equilibrium as possible. Then you are able to manifest with 90%, 100% of yourself, and doubly fast, doubly powerful, and doubly quick as your last 3rd density version was. Those things are all of the basic energies, all of the things that we have iterated, reiterated, shared, and reshared in our experience. Yet all of those things are still just as essential in this moment as they ever were. In this moment, they are the most essential parts of integrating and manifesting your desired construct of expansion and integrating the most of your higher fractal to lower fractal integration to amalgamate the parts of yourself that are fractured and fractalized, to reintroduce excitedness, passion into your now moment. This is your now moment, if you choose it to be. We will take your queries, Kalina.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
I know you've touched upon this already a bit, but just to get it a little bit more concrete, as far as being in the now moment, how does one live in the now moment while planning for the future or potential manifestations? Some examples would be, for instance, William running for sheriff, or Rob and I preparing for the baby's needs before the baby comes.
Yes, of course. What excites you? Let us start with William. Running for sheriff. What does this entail? Publicly or verbally sharing that you desire to run for that office. You're excited to run for office. You know that in your co-created collective rules and regulations, you must first verbally agree that you will run. Then verbally agree that you will run. After that is done, that part no longer holds water. That part no longer has relevance unless there is a re-engaging of that excitement. What is the next step? To start working on speaking of the topics that excite you. Start writing those down in your moment. Write them down. Continue to do that until it excites you. If not all subjects are written about and stops exciting you, then go to some other part of that energy that excites you. Go to that part. Come back when it excites you to work on those questions and continue. Once the topics are written, that is done. No longer do you need to think, do you need to access, do you need to speak about those parts of that energy unless it excites you. We are not saying that humans cannot plan. We are not saying that humans cannot experience desires for their future. Know what it is that you desire. Know what it is in your beliefs that you must do to achieve that. And do those things only when it excites you. Once they are done, never consider them again unless it excites you. As most humans work, this is the way their mental energy flows. I am going to run for sheriff. Let us use the next example. I am going to prepare ourselves for a child coming. Oh no, we must have a larger place to live. Oh no, we must have money to buy all of these things. Oh no, we must also do A, B, C, D. That is the perpetual thinking of your manifested fake future version. Instead, what you can do is, we need all of these things, and I know that I must write a list of what we need. I am not excited by this in this moment. I am actually quite fearful in this moment. Anxiety runs through me in this moment. This is not exciting. I will set this to the side. What is exciting? Choosing a name for the child, running in listing of names, thinking about what this child should wear is exciting, writing lists of possible clothing. Find what excites you in that moment. Some parts of all things are not ever that exciting. For example, paying hospital bills for children, going on interviews for sheriffs when the person interviewing you is 100% against your desire to run. Those things may not be fun. If you have fun with them, they will be of less resistance. And once they are done, they are never to be considered or thought about again. It is just as simple as letting yourself throw that into the air. Imagine yourself in doing it this way. A basket full of things that must be done, choosing the prettiest colored, most exciting one. After you have it in your hand, do it in great fervor, in great excitement. Once it is done, throw it behind you and never approach it again. That is your way to still go forward in some forms of planning, but not fixate or focus. And even the construct of writing the list of things in your future that are needed to be acquired for that experience, only do that when you are excited. All of the parts excited. Some of you are starting to learn that the way that you believe that those things must be done are not always the way that they must be done. It is only your belief that ties you so rigidly to that energy. Consider that. Run it through your 10-step if it excites you. Run it through your mental and emotional self before you run it through your intuitive self. See if that helps you. There are many steps that many of you can throw out of your non-exciting parts of getting ready for the greater excitement that can be not only circumvented, bypassed, but completely removed from your experience. And if that is the case, find what no longer fits the vibration of needing that step in order to climb to your ladder.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
So I know a lot of us humans also deal with needing to release or heal certain things that have happened to us in the past. Humans are really notorious for just kind of running a record, if you will, that just gets scratched and replayed over and over and over. So how does one live in the now moment? Say, for example, if they were abused as a child, and it's really defined a lot of things about the way they see the world from the lens of an abused child with low self-esteem, and maybe they dealt with depression, maybe even gotten alcoholism, etc., etc. How can they release and heal from their past and have all these even personality changes and still live in the now moment? How can they work on that?
Yes, now we understand, as we often communicate with humans, some may perceive us to be rigid or even in some ways cold as we express these ideas. This is not meant as we express this, but those parts of your past you so wholly identify with are mostly perpetuated in the victim mentality. Those energies that, yes, when I was 4 or 5, I was hurt by another human being, regardless if you were smacked by your parents upon your bottom or physically raped or beaten. All of those, yes, are horrific constructs. Yes, they are detrimental to the physical, mental, spiritual aspects of a human being. But when you are 35, 30 years after you were hurt as a child, that personality, that experience, and that energy only is linked to yourself by your desire to have it linked to yourself. We are not saying you wish to be sad, you wish to be hurt, you wish to feel as if you are different. What we are saying is your continuous recalling of that energy, your continuous identification with the person who was hurt or raped as a child. All of the experiential memories that are recalled are only recalled as your brain is active as a computerized version of your consciousness. And what happens when you program something to repeat? It will consistently be made to your part of the awareness in your moment. You must reprogram yourself. You must go through your definitions of what and who you are and allow yourself to reprogram mental processing. Now we understand, we can say quite simply what all humans can do to find relief from that energy, but we also know going through that difficult energy for some of you can be just this, difficult. It can be as simple as going through either 10-step belief system process, or perhaps as some psychologists, psychiatrists, or mental health practitioners express, redefining your mental patterns, going through the process of retraining your mind when you start associating yourself as one identity that is in a place of disempowerment, to reprogram that energy. We do not wish to say that humans are stupid. We do not wish to say that humans are simple, because this can apply literally to all races in the entire galaxy. But as your mind does not function in multiple layers above where the human collective is at in this moment, simple retraining of repetitive mantras, repetitive intents can change the entire basis of the mindset. When you say, I am not a victim, I am not the child who is hurt, I am a new powerful person in this moment, only focused on what excites me now, I will not identify with the person that I was when hurt. Simply doing this 1,000 times a day, or 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, or 10 years, eventually, after retraining the program of your brain, you can even think of it as tricking yourself into believing your new reality. We do not care if you get to the end of the race by walking on the path or walking around the path. What we care for is that if you're excited to change that version of yourself that identifies with being hurt or being harmed as a child, that in this moment you can change at whatever degree you desire. And it is not as simple as just repeating the energy, but feeling that energy. You are not a robot where reprogramming just the mental mind or just the mental brain computer will shift your consciousness in ever-varying ease. What can, should, and must occur in some of your energies is and we are looking for this word, one moment. It is not redefining, but it is reinforcing behind those mental program changes the emotional energy that complies with that construct. For example, I am no longer a victim of violence. I no longer identify with victim of violence. What does that entail for you to partner emotionally for that to shift? Some of you, anger. Anger is a great motivator of change and shift in your experience. I am angry. I will not live as a victim. That can help you change. Others must come in more gentle ways. I will not adhere to the previous engagements that I experienced as allowing them to define who I am now, and reinforcing that with great sense of self-love.
Yeah.
Even if it is fake for the moment, even if you must force that emotion, you must realign your programming in order for it to stick. Some of you have only worked in one of two ways. Mentally, I will try to avert what has occurred in my experience, and that should change that energy. Yet others only emotionally. I must feel good, so each time I think of the abuse that occurred as a child, I will then have sex with someone. I will then eat chocolates. I will then use drugs. That is not a reinforcement. That is a crutching. It must be the energy of yourself merging both the mental and emotional reinforcements to lack that energy of victimhood, to perpetuate the energy of your self-confidence, and to motivate exacting change.
Thank you, Arda.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so my final question for you tonight, I'm going to read out to you some things that a myriad of humans have to deal with in terms of non-excitements, and everybody has different experiences, so I was just thinking of all the different potentials that a wide gamut of people would go through.
Yes, we understand.
For example, chronic pain, accidents, cancer, court, death of a loved one, jail time, divorce, loss of house, miscarriage, bills, awful jobs to make money, and bad neighbors. These are all a myriad of things that different people can go through that they're not excited about, but nonetheless they find themselves in. How can someone deal with the present moment when they're dealing with non-excitements in the now moment?
Yes, of course. All of the things that we've expressed in order to change in the previous answer to the previous question can, do, and will apply in this construct. But one thing that we can expand upon, the energy of allowing, that energy of accepting certain components. When you are living next to neighbors, you have to accept that until either yourself or the neighbors move, that you will be next to them. What you do not have to accept is the manner in which you can bump into one another, the amount of time that you can see one another, the amount of energy that they are putting into the co-creation to affect the time and energy that you are putting into the co-creation. The energy where you are able to shift that vibration. First of all, part of all of those creations that we've expressed are literally and specifically parts of co-creational energies, regardless if they are singly experienced or collectively experienced. They are co-creations of energies. Your neighbors, those are, in your third density experience, projections of something internally. There are parts of you that hold beliefs that in living in neighborhoods where neighbors do occur, that you can get bad apple, that you can get a non-resident co-creator. That is what helped learn that experience and manifest it into your fruition and into your experiential co-creation. So first identifying what part of your beliefs allowed that co-creation is important. Shifting that belief can help to a degree in certain energies. With your neighbors, that can help exponentially. The energies that require the continuation of that energy, simple thought processes can take you down this road. What means that I must continue going through this with my neighbors, listing out all of the things in your beliefs that allow co-creations between yourself and that neighbor. Things that are not as tangible, such as miscarriages or such as losing a loved one. Those are part of the Earth collective consciousness. There are many entities that only desire in utero experiences and will not make it into full birth. Painful, yet it is part of the Earth co-created collective. There are those that you love that will die before you are dead. Again, part of the natural process of Earth co-created collective consciousness. Acceptance that occurs. We do not suggest that you go through life smiling 100% of the time. That is not why you chose Earth. In fact, it is quite the opposite. All of you chose to incarnate in Earth because you knew there would be hardships, pain, suffering, etc. It is part of the Earth collective. Knowing that it's part of the Earth collective is important. Also, knowing that when your heart hurts for the loved one who has passed, knowing that you are aware they are not gone in that sense of the word dissipated, disappeared, or never to be felt, perceived, co-created with again, but gone as in the way that you used to experience that entity is now gone from your experience. And that is natural. Feeling the pain for the lost loved one, or for the lost child, or for the frustration of the repetitive, angry neighbor, those things are acceptable. But shifting the way that you perceive them can give you either ease or addition to those pains. When you perceive, yes, all neighbors can be possible jerks, and I will not give them the satisfaction of letting them rise my anger. That can make your experience with your neighbor better, simply by integrating that belief. Losing a child, knowing that this soul only desired to be as a part of the pregnancy path, 1 month, 5 months, or even when children become 20 and 30, and you are older, and they pass before you do. They were part of your co-created energy, knowing that those that are older than you die, knowing that as you become older, the body decays, all of those things are important to know. Letting yourself feel the energy and accept the parts of your experience that are willing to be embedded and part of your belief system is important. Some of you know that some of your belief systems are hindrances and or resistant in your growth. You do not wish to change them. To our perspective, this is 100% acceptable in your creation. You do not have to feel any way, yet you do not have to not feel any way either. Whatever your desire to create, and some of you do enjoy creating dramas, resistances, fears, and that is also acceptable. Not judging yourself where you are in that moment, also highly acceptable. Accept where you are at, shift and change what you can by defining, by feeling, and by going through those experiences. We wish to express to all of you, it is our greatest pleasure to have co-created with you, and many of you we will co-create with again in the now moment of your linear future this evening. But all of you, we are creating with you through your linear time in this moment. We thank you for this co-creation. We congratulate you for your growth.
Thank you so much, Aridif. This has been extremely, extremely helpful. I think it's going to be really wonderful to listen back to it again and again anytime we need that reminder with creating in the now moment and being in the now moment. So thank you so much.
Yes.
We love you very much.
Yes, of course. Not only are all of you loved, not only, Kalina, are you loved, but we love you, Kalina. We love all of you. We wish to bid you adieu for this day until this evening. You are loved.
You are loved.
Adieu.
Adieu, sweet Dippy. Welcome back, sweetie.
Yeah.
That was excellent. That was extremely insightful.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you get to hear any of it, or were you and Treb just
no, me and Treb were hanging out.
Oh, nice.
Well, it looks like in the chat some people said it was a good deal. I'm glad, guys. It sounded like it was good for you too.
The mastery was mainly around the theme of living in the now moment, which is extremely important. Which is funny, I joked about it earlier with the baby kicking and the forgetfulness of being pregnant, living in the now moment, bringing me to that, you know.
Okay, well, that's definitely a unique interpretation.
Well, more like just, yeah.
Okay, well.
It's interesting because throughout my life, like so many teachings have to do with, it's like it always brings it back to the same concept of the importance of being in the now moment, you know, and when I really think about it, anytime I've been really tired, aside from being pregnant, it's been when I put a lot of my energy in the past or in the future. And maybe part of it is because, for instance, with the baby, I'm like, okay, we need to get this, we need to get that, we got to get this ready, we got to get that ready, you know.
Sure.
And but it's just like everybody is dealing with things, and it's almost like we're kind of programmed to be worried about the future and hung up on the past, you know?
Yeah.
So this is really beautiful because we only really ever live in the now moment. That's really all we really have. whether we are in, fourth or fifth density experience, all we have is the now moment. Even if we're experiencing multiple things at once, or just one thing at a time, the perception of it. So
it's true.
Yeah. You're still grounding. Rob's like, sure, okay.
No, I'm hearing you. I just, I can hear it and I can understand it. I just can't do anything with it right now.
You probably have to eat. That's probably your excitement in the now moment.
Oh, I definitely got to do that. But
because he hasn't hardly eaten. You've hardly eaten anything today.
No. Well, that's all right though. Well, guys, we're gonna be back in like 2.5, maybe to 3 hours or so. We might run at 9:30.
I think for your sake, sweetie, 9:30.
Well, we'll still shoot for 9. Everybody, just keep an eye on the thing, and if we change it to 9:30, we'll change the actual time. So when you click on the link for the next one, instead of saying, "Hey, everybody, 2.5 hours," the live stream will start. It'll say, "Hey, 3 hours." Or whenever you're checking. If you're checking it in 2 hours from now, it'll either say 1/2 hour. So that's the way you guys will know.
You'll know in that now moment.
Yeah, nice. All right, guys. Well, I'm jumping off because we got to do this again tonight. I love you guys very much.
I love you guys too. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and I hope that whatever was said was useful. It sounds like it was, guys. We love you guys, and we'll see you in just a couple hours. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
And bye.